Welcome back, and today we're going to talk about 5 EDC items I cannot live without. Now, when I think of 5 items I cannot live without, I think about a situation where I am going to work in the morning and I get in my car and I start to drive away. At what distance would I be willing to turn around and go get those items rather than just leaving them at home? So the more important they are, the bigger the distance I'd be willing to go just to get it back in my possession. That's kind of my approach for this, and it forced me to make some really interesting decisions. But I'm not the only one. This video you're watching right now is part of a collaboration series with a group of other content creators all over YouTube from around the world. So as you're watching this, they're posting their video as well, showing their 5 must-have items. You can find a link to all of their videos down in the description. Now, with that said, let's start with my number 5, and it's gonna be what I have right on my head, and that is a good hat. But more specifically, the Wazoo Cache Cap. Now, it is very debatable whether a hat constitutes a true EDC item, but for me, it absolutely is. And the hat of choice is the Wazoo Cache Cap. And inside that cap are hidden quite a few awesome little goodies. Now, the linchpin of this entire kit is the Victorinox Alox Classic 58mm. This thing is small enough and thin enough, it actually fits in a very small, tight little pocket in the brim of the hat. In addition to that, there is a front Velcro pocket that I keep paper clips and safety pins and bobby pins so I can help save the day whenever it comes up. And believe it or not, it comes up quite often. On the sides, I have a section that includes hair ties wrapped in electrical tape. And in the other side, I have a spare mask just in case I need it. Now in the front, I keep only 2 things. I keep some Gorilla duct tape, but also I keep a hydrocolloidal Band-Aid from CVS. This is my favorite size and brand for it. And the scissors on the Victorinox will actually let you cut it up into much smaller bandages to use for various different purposes. It is medicated throughout, so you don't have to worry about anything additionally. You just stick it straight to the wound and you're good to go. And being accident prone as I am, it's a good thing to have. This hat is phenomenal, and as you'll see, it works in conjunction with the other 4 items that we'll be talking about. Now, the next item I can't be without is gonna have to be a multi-tool. Yes, this is my very first multi-tool when I was about 4 or 5 years old. But I have an entire list of multi-tools that I actually carry every day in a recent video that I posted earlier this week. I'll put a link to that down in the description as well. But yes, a multi-tool, a plier-based multi-tool is definitely something that I can't live without. Now, would I leave it at home if I was far enough away? Of course I would. I don't necessarily need it, but I feel rather naked without it. And so this is definitely one of my top 5 essential items. It is not the most important thing to me. However, it is still very important, and I have found so many uses for it over the years. I don't think I could just carry a knife. I would have to have something that provides the same functionality as I get out of a plier-based multi-tool. Now, we are into the top 3, and these are items I almost never go without, like almost never. And it starts with something that I grab the very first thing I do every morning at 4 a.m. and that is a flashlight. Not just any flashlight. It's a flashlight with very specific features. Number 1, it needs to have a moonlight mode or a very, very, very low mode. Sometimes a single lumen or less, because the last thing I want to do when I'm waking up at 4 a.m. is blow out my vision and make it difficult for me to navigate the room and the rest of the house in that morning. And I generally don't even flip on the switch. So it's very important to me. The second thing that is absolutely required with these is I need to be able to use them hands-free. And there are different ways that can work. It can be a side light like this one. It can be a right-angled flashlight, so I can clip it on my collar. It can be a flashlight with a reversible clip that can fit directly on the hat, and that works fine as well. And the cool thing about the Wazoo Cache Cap is not only can I attach things to the outside, but because of the pockets on the inside, I can take a normal flashlight, clip it inside, and now I can use it hands-free. And it will never come out because the only way it can is to hit my head, okay? So it's a really great combination, and it lets me use pretty much every flashlight in this manner. So once I put it on a shirt, it's basically hat on and flashlight on for the rest of the morning. And that is absolutely essential. I could not live without it. The last thing I want to be doing is waking up my wife at 4 o'clock in the morning when she's got to go to work later on. So this is something I will never go without. All right, number 2, and this is more of a confession than anything else. And I cannot not tell you guys if I'm being honest with myself. This is an item that I cannot live without, and I would absolutely turn around to get, but it's probably not what you're expecting. It's a belt. Yeah, I don't even wear bathing suits that don't have belt loops. I hate them. I hate drawstrings. I hate anything that doesn't have a firm, strong belt. And speaking of that, this has been the belt that I have worn the last 6 months. Now I have, before this, was always using the Wazoo Cache belt and love it, still do. But the moment I put this on, I had trouble going back to anything else. A lot of times when belts say that they do this or the other thing, it's usually an exaggeration. That is not the case with this. This is the Grip 6 belt, and it is as comfortable as they have suggested it is. Now, they did not send me this. I actually purchased this as part of a kit because I wanted to check out the wallet. Turns out the best part about that whole setup was the belt. I love this thing so much. It never slips. It's fantastic. And because of the way it works, where it tucks in and then pinches and lays flat, it's so clean and just so functional. I'm probably gonna end up getting a couple more, to be honest. It's a fantastic belt. I've worn it in oceans, in pools. Yeah, I wear it all the time. It's great. I can't live without a belt. I never will. I hate anything with a drawstring. I won't wear anything with like elastic pants except maybe my underwear. And that's it. I gotta have my belt. It's not a discussion. I will travel 5 miles back and be late for work than be the grumpy pants all day long. So yeah, a belt, absolutely essential. And the Grip 6 belt is fantastic. I cannot recommend it enough. Now, if you had asked me in 2019 what my top 5 must-have items are, it would have been completely different. And I'm pretty sure that this item would not have even ranked in the top 5 if considered at all. But over the last couple of years, it has been the one thing keeping me going in many ways. It has been a source of inspiration, a place to deal with frustrations and, deal with trauma. It has been essential. It's no other word for it. And that is going to be a notebook and pen. This is the one thing I would never leave without. And that being said, I have gone to plenty of places and actually asked them for a pen and paper because it was so essential for me to have one, to be able to write down my thoughts. And I want to tell you this, before I tell you what my favorite items are from each of the notebook and pen, I will tell you that I have tried a iPad Pro with a pen. I actually have it upstairs. I am filming this right now on the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, which also has a pen. I have multiple Rocket books, which are supposed to be kind of a hybrid approach to the digital world. And I can say this conclusively, that absolutely nothing can replace pen and paper. Because there's just something you can do with a pen and paper that you can't do with anything else. When you're dealing with frustrations or struggles and you need to let it out, you need to let it go, you can do exactly that. And that's something you simply cannot do with the digital medium. And it's a powerful thing. It has been for me. And this item is essential. But let's go into the actual pens and notebooks that I prefer, since I do get a choice to carry them and I always have one with me. Now I literally have dozens of pens, different materials, different lengths, different inserts, you name it, all over the place. But there's been a couple mainstays that have really shown through compared to the others. Now, I am very much a functional person, but more important than that is having a pen on hand at all times so that I can write my ideas or anything I need to get out in that moment. And the hero of this story, at least for the last 6 months, has been the Pokka Pen. These are fantastic. They're like EDC Skittles. They come in a billion different colors. They have replaceable inserts. They are watertight. You can put them on a keychain. You can put them in your pocket with a pocket clip. They can be attached to a notebook like you see here. It's fantastic. They are wonderful, and they're under $4 a piece when you buy them in bulk. I cannot recommend them enough. Now I have other pens that I would also recommend, and I think we're gonna have to save that for a second video somewhere down the line, hopefully soon, because it really is a topic in and of itself. But definitely it's more about having one than having a really nice one. That being said, I do like me some nice pens. It does feel great and it does inspire me to want to write. Now, when it comes to notebooks, it's a completely different scenario. There's very clear standouts for me that I like. Write in the Rain notebooks are a winner across the board. It doesn't matter what size they're in. But I have found myself gravitating to a slightly larger notebook, a spiral bound one, because it lays completely flat and allows me to sketch a lot easier with sketching tools on the fly. So that is something that I've really appreciated. And all of the Write in the Rain notebooks come in a universal pattern that lets you use it both as a grid and as lined notebook paper. So any way you want to use it, it's there for you. And it's not just water or rain that it's protecting you from. If you live in a very hot, humid environment, you tend to sweat a lot, your notebook will absorb that sweat. I know it's disgusting, but having a waterproof notebook is a really big deal if you live in a hot and humid environment, which in Virginia, I do. So I highly recommend it. Now I want to teach you a little bit of a trick with my second most favorite writing item. Notebook, and that is Post-it notes, but not just any Post-it notes. They have recently come out with these things called extreme notes, and they also have tough notes, which I guess is a different brand of them. I'm not 100% sure, but these are also waterproof sticky notes, and the adhesive that they have lets them stick to wet objects even. And I gotta say, I way prefer them to regular notes, even though they're not quite as easy to write on, but the fact that you can then have them last for a much longer period of time, I think is awesome. So I definitely recommend these, and I keep them stuck in a notebook. So inside the last couple pages, I actually have some sticky notes attached to the back of the notebook. And that way, when I need to just have something that I want to leave for someone, I can do that as well. I know you can obviously send a text, but it's just different when it's in writing. It just is, and it's more fun. And at least for me, I will actually send myself messages. I'll write something that I need to remember, or just because something is it's difficult or whatever, I'll write something that will make me smile, and then it'll just be a reminder that I'll see by accident, and all of a sudden, boom, I feel better. So paper and pen, there's nothing more powerful in my arsenal, and it is a game changer and the most important item that I have in my EDC. Now I want to thank you for watching this. This was a lot of fun, and actually was really interesting for me to force myself to look at what really is essential in my everyday carry. I'm really curious. In fact, right as we're finishing this, I'm going to be going over and taking a look at everyone else's videos. I can't wait to see what their top 5 are going to look like. And they're all going to be pretty different, my guess. So I will put a link, like I said, in the description to everyone's video who's participating in this little event, as well as a playlist so you can watch them all back to back. I want to thank everyone for stopping in. I really appreciate your time, and we'll talk again soon.